Good evening and welcome to 60 Minutes. I'm Tara Brown. Be warned, the man you're about to meet is not to be believed or trusted. Goran Markovic is a con artist and very good at being very bad. For 40 years, he's been perfecting his nasty craft, lying his way around Australia and the world, fleecing almost everyone he encounters. From millionaire businessmen to unsuspecting women, no one is safe. Even investigating police have been mocked by this elusive catch-me-if-you-can crook. But tonight, the tables are turned as the con gets stung by two of his victims. Goran Markovic is finally caught, and it's all on camera.
Goran Markovic. Capable. Conniving. He's an old-fashioned con man who exploits people's weaknesses, and he defrauds them of everything they've got.
This is Goran Markovic, a man who makes his living robbing the unsuspecting and the trusting. You're a con artist, you're a liar,
I'm not.
And you are a thief. Yes, you are.
No, I'm not actually.
You are a convicted fraudster. Tonight, two strangers have been brought together by the actions of one man. But Julie Maximovic and Kelly Bolter have a surprise for Goran Markovic, who conned his way into their lives only to steal their money and dignity. Okay, what is your plan now, Julie? What do you want to do?
Okay, I'm going to call Goran. I'm going to tell him. I can't wait to see you.
Julie, who is owed $40,000, is intent on exposing Markovic for his lies. And Kelly, who lost $120,000, also wants justice, not just for herself, but all his victims. Do you know how many victims you've come across? Do you know how much money has been lost to this man?
I've probably been in contact with about 40 victims in this country, in Europe and the UK, and I think it's millions and millions of dollars.
Now they want retribution. Unsuspectingly, Markovic has agreed to meet with Julie. And hidden in the hotel room right next door, Kelly is praying for him to arrive. He said he'd be here at 10 a.m. By 10:30, Julie still has no word from Markovic.
I think, fundamentally, I call him the Lex Luthor of the motor industry. He couldn't lie straight in bed.
As Sydney businessman Ian Hyman now knows all too well, Goran Markovic has been successfully conning people for decades. But in 2000, unaware of the man's long rap sheet for fraud and forgery, Ian made the mistake of hiring him to buy cars for his fleet sales business.
For several months that worked like clockwork until cars literally stopped turning up.
So as a representative of your company, Markovic was seeking payment from the company's coffers for cars that he wasn't buying.
That didn't exist.
So where was that money going?
It went into a bank account. We don't know where that bank account was. When we couldn't work out where the vehicles were, and it was obviously there'd been a fraud.
According to Ian, it was a devastating fraud. Markovic stole nearly $500,000 by putting in bogus invoices. But the true cost of his scam was much more. So you lose your business over this?
Yes, correct, yes.
People lose their jobs?
Yeah.
How much did that cost you in the end?
Ended up totaling close to 1.6, 1.7 million.
What other members of the community have you come across that have been fleeced by this man?
Professionals, the car yard dealers, banks.
In 2002, Detective Bob Brisby was called in to investigate yet another Markovic con. This time, he'd netted nearly $80,000 scamming close friends. Detective Brisby got his man, but Markovic got bail, saw his chance and skipped the country.
And when I went to pick him up, couldn't find him. And a day or two later, just sitting in the office, I got a phone call. And it was Goran saying, "Bob, just wanted to let you know that I was too good for you. I've gone from the country, and you'll never get me and I'm never coming back." I said, "Yeah, fair cop, Goran, okay. Might not be this week, this month or this year, but I'm sure we'll meet again."
For the past 15 years, this tenacious copper has been on Markovic's tail, keeping track as he crisscrossed the world. The 58-year-old con travelled on false passports, impersonated army colonels, ASIO and Interpol agents, and claimed to be a pilot. No matter the lie, it always came with a con. And no matter where he was, there was always time to taunt Bob by phone and with postcards. Did that make your blood boil?
I think the best way to say is, to me, he was just another job. He was interesting to me as the lawn is to a gardener. It was just another job.
But it's a job that doesn't seem to be going away.
No, he's persistent.
Coming up, Goran's trail of deceit. Did you believe that your life was in danger?
I did.
Now a daring plan to catch the con man. You sure about this?
Yep.
You can still say no.
No, I'm going.
Hello, Goran Markovic. And later in the program, Charlie is charmed
Nice people go into politics.
by New Zealand's pregnant PM. Plus, the real Robbie Williams.
There's this whole ship that is the Titanic. I'm the captain. And you're trying to not crash into the iceberg.
All that's still to come on 60 Minutes.
He's like a chameleon. He just takes on the persona of what he thinks will help him to steal money, and it changes from victim to victim.
Con artist Goran Markovic's most farcical and brazen lie made worldwide headlines in 2005. At a routine road check in Serbia, Markovic tried to pass himself off as action hero and movie star Bruce Willis, handing over a forged Australian passport in the American actor's name. Markovic was jailed, not just for his stupidity, but for the stolen car he was driving and the dozen other fake identities in his possession. I mean, Bruce Willis, why would he do something like that when he get found out?
No, and I guess there is a slight resemblance back then to Bruce Willis.
Right.
Very slight.
Very slight. Unaware at the time of the ridiculous Bruce Willis impersonation, Kelly Bolter was immediately taken in by Markovic when they met at a Florence youth hostel in 2014.
He started telling me that he was very wealthy and he had done many assignments for Asia on and off over the years.
Did this wealthy spy explain why he was staying at a youth hostel?
Yes, because his documents and credit cards and passport had been stolen.
They quickly bonded as fellow Australians abroad and, like travellers often do, decided to take a road trip together. Little did Kelly know she was being groomed to fund this man's outlandish odyssey.
It's odd to say, but at the beginning I felt very safe with him. I guess I started seeing him as an older father figure.
They ended up in Brussels, where things got truly bizarre.
He was investigating an assassin of an American oil executive there, and it had gone terribly wrong, he said, and that this international crime gang knew of my existence and my life was in danger. So we basically left Brussels in a hurry.
So now you're on the run?
Yes, now we're on the run.
As far-fetched as this scenario sounds, he furnished you with emails, is that right? Markovic's scam of Kelly was cemented by elaborate detail, which convinced her they were both in danger.
And it did have the ASIO logo with it as well.
It was an extraordinary setup by Markovic. Kelly started receiving direct communication signed by Todd Brown, who claimed to be the assistant director of ASIO. The man Goran told her was his boss.
They now have over 400 personnel.
In more than 50 emails from Brown, Kelly was told she had every reason to feel terrified.
Careful, they have red flagged all the accounts. The bottom line is the longer this drags on, the less chance you both have of getting through this unscathed.
Do you think that Todd Brown ever sent you emails? Or...
No. I think that Goran Markovic wrote all the emails.
At the time, Kelly did not know this. She truly believed Todd Brown was real, even as Markovic's claims became wilder and wilder. Markovic told Kelly he now had to go on the run from his own people at ASIO. He was also wanted by the US Secret Service, and don't forget the nasty international crime gang that was out for his blood, and by default, Kelly's too. Just take me to your mindset during this 7 months. I mean, did you for that entire time believe that you were on the run? Did you believe that your life was in danger?
I did.
As an Australian in a foreign city, in many foreign cities, how isolated were you?
I was extremely isolated. I was travelling alone. I didn't know anyone at all. My family were...
By now, Kelly was completely at the mercy of Markovic, who'd become her tormentor. He'd taken her credit card and had started to abuse her. At other times, he'd leave Kelly stranded, claiming to be on another assignment.
I was scared for my life, and I just...
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
Often he took my passport. He just stranded me, literally. I felt like I was being held hostage.
Markovic kept Kelly captive by falsely claiming she'd be detained indefinitely by authorities if she tried to leave Europe. In the end, even that was a better prospect than staying with her abuser. And as she found, of course, she was free to return home. At what point did you realise that you were a victim here, not of an espionage nightmare, but of a complicated, elaborate scam?
It was very difficult for me to accept it had been a scam.
Why was that difficult?
It was so embarrassing and shameful that I'd fallen for such a scam, and I just didn't think someone could be that ruthless and cruel.
Markovic stole $120,000 from Kelly and her family. After she escaped, he turned his attention to conning people in France, kind enough to give him work. The amounts were smaller, but enough to get him deported in 2016, and eventually back into the hands of Detective Bob Brisby. Did you always think you'd get this man?
No. But I maintained with international authorities when he was coming back into the country. That's when, rather than just monitoring and watching and listening, we were able actually to act and pick him up.
Some 15 years later?
Yeah, 15 years.
Markovic was finally convicted for the $80,000 fraud he'd committed back in 2002, and last year was sentenced to 18 months jail, of which he served 7 months. But as you'll learn, even while incarcerated, Goran Markovic was up to his old tricks.
If he's knocking on your door, don't answer. If he's ringing, don't talk. If he wants something, don't give it to him. Simple, because if he sees an opportunity, he will exploit it. So don't give him one.
Coming up, caught in the act.
Okay.
Should I call you Goran or should I call you Bruce Willis? Who are you today? But this time, there's no escape. What are you going to do now? You're going to run again? You're a thief. You're a straight-out thief. That's next on 60 Minutes. Julie Maximovich is in the middle of Goran Markovic's latest scam. He owes her money, and as you'll hear, every day he has another excuse for why he hasn't paid it back. While she knows who she's dealing with now, it was a very different Julie 6 months ago.
Everyone deserves a second chance in life. Let's help him.
Was he offering you a sob story? I mean, what was it that convinced you he needed a second chance?
Sob story. There is nothing in the world like this person. He is so convincing.
So convincing, Markovic persuaded Julie to lend him $20,000. She admits she was too trusting of a man she'd only ever spoken to on the phone and who was in jail for fraud at the time. A fellow inmate, who was a relative of Julie's, had got them talking.
I found a best friend. The way he spoke, how gentle he was, how understanding he was, how supportive he was.
Markovic claimed he was temporarily short of cash, but would pay back Julie double the amount she lent him. An irresistible deal of $40,000 in return.
And I began to share these sort of stories with my daughter, Susanna.
So he's a serious scammer posted as ASIO agent.
And she immediately said to me, Mum, something's wrong. Mum, get away from this man.
Confirming their suspicions were online warnings about Markovic from Kelly Bolter, who had lost her life savings to the con man.
It seemed that you now had a mindset where Goran Markovic was your target.
I realise it is quite a bizarre, unbelievable story now, and so I was trying to gather as much information to prove it.
Kelly now had an ally in Julie, who was tired of Markovic's tall tales.
You'll get the money today, you'll get the money tomorrow, you'll get it the day after, and it kept going and going in different stories, different lies.
Hi, Julie.
Hi, how are you?
And while filming with Julie, we get to hear some of those lies.
Right.
She's in a coma,
Oh, my.
The first lie is extraordinary. Markovic tries to play on Julie's sympathy and claims his mother is in a coma.
She's still not responsive, but she twitched a couple of times, which could be I think it could be a good...
Oh, for sure, Goran. If she twitched or any little movement, that's a big sign.
Yeah, I think so.
But this is Goran's mother, frail but clearly not in a coma, as she delivers plastics to the recycling bin.
Which hospital is she in? Because I'd like to send some flowers.
Some flowers. Don't flowers. I just want it to get better.
I know, but what are doctors saying, please?
Nothing. There's nothing they can say.
And then this.
Hi.
Markovic says he's expecting a call from the National Australia Bank, which will explain where Julie's missing money is.
She's going to ring me back in the next 5 or 10 minutes, so we'll just keep talking.
And lo and behold, Markovic gets a call within 4 minutes, though no one can be heard on the other line.
Hang on, Jules.
Okay.
Hello? Yes, hang on, Liz. Just let me pull over. What have we got? Well, you can't assume that, Elizabeth. You know, I've spent most of 22 hours a day in bloody hospital.
It's a good act. Markovic feigns anger even though Liz from the bank is obviously a figment of his imagination.
Okay, Liz, can you sort this out or not? Simple question. Can you sort it out and let me know you sorted out? Okay, well, put a trace on it now.
And do you ever expect to see your money again?
Never.
Why have you not gone to the police?
Shame. Fear. Embarrassment.
But together, Julie and Kelly are working to finally bring down this career fraudster.
I just want the opportunity to face him one last time. and to reinforce that I'm a strong person and that he didn't beat me.
As part of the plan, Julie has managed to convince Markovic to visit her today. 3 hidden cameras placed around the apartment will capture their every move. In the room next door, Kelly will watch and wait.
Oh my God. I feel like I'm dreaming. I feel like this is a nightmare.
But this is part of what you wanted, right? You wanted to confront him.
I did. And this is something I have to do.
Running late, Markovic doesn't bother to call Julie, but leaves his home and appears to be heading towards her location.
Okay, we've heard now that he's very close. How does that make you feel?
I'm very anxious about it. Yeah, bit scared.
How do you think he's going to react to you?
Oh, he'd be very shocked.
He's getting out of the car now. He's walking to the back of the car. I'm filming him.
He's coming. Okay, good luck.
Markovic has arrived and is now only moments away.
He's coming. This one.
Kelly has been waiting for this day for more than 3 years.
You're all right. It's okay. She's nervous.
Despite her rising anxiety, Julie keeps her wits as she welcomes Goran in.
Are you okay seeing him?
They talk on the balcony. He tells Julie his mother now needs a $60,000 hip replacement. As for the money he owes Julie, he claims regrettably and without further explanation that it has been stopped by AUSTRAC, a government agency that investigates money laundering and terrorism.
Are you ready to go in? You sure about this?
Yep.
You can still say no.
No, I'm going.
Okay. Hello, Goran Markovic.
Hi.
Tara Brown from 60 Minutes.
Hi.
And you know Kelly, obviously.
I do.
You do.
You're a liar, Goran, and I've exposed you for the liar that you are and the criminal that you are, and we want our money back.
You yourself lied that I held you hostage. You
I've not
that
lied about anything.
You lied that I
People know
raped
you for the fraudster and the liar that
Is
you
that
are.
right?
And where's our money?
You
we
lied.
want our money back.
You lied.
And I want an apology, and I want you back in jail. That's where you belong.
Is that right?
Yes, it is.
You lied.
Goran, let's
Yes.
talk about who lies here.
Okay.
Should I call you Goran, or
No,
should I call you
shouldn't
Bruce
call me
Willis?
at all.
I shouldn't call you at all.
You shouldn't call me at
Or
all.
should I call you Adrian, or Demetrius, or
Whatever you
Scott,
want to,
or
whatever you want
Guy,
to
or
call me.
Todd, or Stephanie? Who are you today?
Are you guys finished?
No, we're not finished. I think you would like to know where the money is, Goran, and when you're giving it back.
For a con, Markovic forgot one of the first rules of engagement. On arrival, he didn't take note of his closest exit.
Is that right? Okay.
How can you stand here and accuse these people of lying when you're a fraudster? You're a thief. You're a straight-out thief.
Is that what you think? Is that
Oh, no, it's not what I think. It's what the law thinks. It's what all those poor people you've ripped off think.
Is that right? Is it?
Yes. And I just want to know, Goran, what are you going to do now? You're going to run again? You're going to run back to Serbia where you're wanted?
No, actually, I'm not. And I suggest you better check your records as
I've
well.
got my records right here.
Have you really?
Yeah, and so...
As the records show, Markovic is wanted in Serbia for embezzlement. And of all those fake identities, the only one he argues against is Bruce Willis.
Where did you get the idea that you looked anything like Bruce Willis?
Actually, you got the information wrong because it wasn't Bruce Willis. It was Stephen Bruce Ellis, not
Is that
Willis.
right? Okay, so you've admitted to pretending you're someone you're not, but not Bruce Willis. Is that what you're saying?
No.
The further we walk, the more he denies, and the larger the lies.
Why did you claim to be from ASIO? Why did you claim to work for Interpol? Why did you claim to do that if you weren't trying to rip people off?
Listen to me, you have no idea.
Simple questions. Why would you
And
do
I'm
that?
telling you, you have no idea who Kelly is.
Markovic finally sees an escape route.
Oh, you've got a car here, Goran. Why don't you get into your car?
As Goran speeds away, back in the apartment, Kelly and Julie are mostly relieved.
It wasn't as scary as I thought, and he didn't intimidate me like he did before.
Hello?
But even now, Markovic wants the last word. Within minutes, he calls Julie to taunt her. If only she had waited, she would have got her money.
So he's not denying my money. He said, you should have waited till Tuesday, Wednesday, you would have had your money.
Oh, Tuesday or Wednesday
Yes.
now?
This has been going on for 6 months.
Needless to say, Julie has given up ever seeing her money again. Kelly continues to work on warning others, unlucky enough to ever encounter Goran Markovic, as does the good detective Bob Brisby, who is all too aware of the pain behind the farce.
That's the biggest tragedy of it all. They're real people, families, and just trying to make their way, who are just being defrauded at the basis level of trust. It's very sad. It's the old saying that if there is doubt, there is no doubt. If you're thinking, should I be giving this person or mortgaging my house for this person, don't do it. Plain and simple.
Hello, I'm Tara Brown. Thanks for watching. To keep up with the latest from 60 Minutes Australia, make sure you subscribe to our channel. You can also download the 9Now app for full episodes and other exclusive 60 Minutes content.